Hello children, welcome back to GradeBooster. Today our lesson is heredity. What is heredity? It is a process in which the traits or characteristics pass from parents to children. So what are characteristics? Like features, body features. They can be either physical features like skin color, eye color, hair type, ear lobe type. These are all the traits. We see the traits in organisms, both in plants and animals. So these traits, they pass from parents to offsprings, that are to their children. So this process is called heredity. So it is the process by which traits, it is a process, are passed from parents to offsprings. Okay. So the traits may be physical, that is body appearance, psychological or behavioral. So how the traits are passed from parents to offsprings? That is by the genes. The genes of parents pass to the children. Okay. Babies or the offsprings, they get genes from mother and from father. Both the genes they get. So through these genes, the traits or characteristics inherit to the children, right? So that is heredity. So what are genes? Gene is a part of DNA. What is DNA? DNA is a part of chromosome, right children? Chromosome is present in the nucleus of this cell, right? So chromosomes, they contain DNA, DNA contain the genes. Genes are responsible for the characteristics of the organisms. Next. Now let us see what is a variation. So we learned what is heredity. Now let us see what is variation. Variation means the differences between the parents and children. Children, they look like their parent. They are similar to their parent, but they are not exactly similar to their parents. They look like their parents, but they are not exactly similar. See, a baby may look like his father. He will get some features like his father or mother. But he is not an exact copy of his father or mother. So, any organism you take, you cannot say that it is an exact copy of its parent, because they do not have the same exact traits like their parents. There are some differences. There are some differences in the new generation. So, these differences are called variations. So why these variations occur? These variations occur because of one, sexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction, I told you in the before slide, the inheritance of the traits takes place through the genes. The genes come from father and mother. Okay, both, not from a single parent. Genes come from father and mother. Both genes will come to the child. So in sexual reproduction, baby gets the genes from father and mother. DNA present in the sperm cell joins with the DNA present in the egg cell. Then fertilization takes place, zygote forms. So now the zygote is having the DNA of father and mother. That means the zygote is having the genes of father and mother. So when the two DNAs of sperm and egg cell, they combine, that is called genetic recombination. The combination of new DNA, the formation of new DNA by combination. Mother DNA, father DNA, they combine, that is called recombination. So new DNA is formed. That's the reason they will have some differences from their parents. They are not exactly the copies of their parents. Okay. And what is the other reason for variations? One reason is that sexual reproduction and genetic recombination. These two are the reasons. Okay, these are interrelated. We can consider as a single reason. And mutations. What is the second reason? Mutations. So what are the mutations? Mutation means some errors during the copy of DNA. So when the DNA is being copied, for example, you see in asexual organisms which reproduce by asexual method. An organism is reproducing in an asexual method. There is no father and mother. Only that organism is producing new organism. So the same DNA is passed to the child, but even then some changes come. How? When the new organism is forming from parent, during that time the DNA is copied. So during the copying some errors may take place, some mistakes, because of that some variations happens. So what is that reason? That is called as mutations. The errors in DNA copying is called mutations. Just like you see, you are copying notes from your friend's notes. So you may not write exactly what is there in the notebook. While writing, you may write some mistakes. In the same way, when the DNA is copied, there is a chance for mistakes or errors in copying. Those errors are called mutations, and because of mutations also, organisms, the young generations, look a little bit different from their parent. Okay? So variations are important. And many times we get this question, are variations useful for the organism or harmful? All variations do not help the organism, but most of the variations helps the organisms in their survival and also helps the organisms in the process of evolution. Okay? Accumulation of variation during reproduction. So what is this accumulation of variations? See, so parent 1 and parent 2. Let me write in white. So by that, parent 1, parent 2. So here reproduction takes place and here G1 is formed. So during the process of reproduction, variation 1 entered. Some variations takes place during the reproduction. So the G1 has got some traits from parent 1, some traits from parent 2. That is, okay, we can write mother or father. So in generation 1, there are some changes which are very new. These changes are not found in mother or father, they are new. Some new variations entered into generation 1. When the generation 1 gives birth to generation 2, again some new variations get into that. So now the generation 2 is having the variations of V1 and V2. When next generation 3, third variations. So generation 3 is having variations of 1, 2 and 3. Like that, from generation to generation, every time the variations get accumulated. This is called accumulation of variations. Right, children? So the variations are not same in sexually reproducing and asexually reproducing organisms. In asexual reproduction, the number of variations are less compared to sexual reproduction, because in sexual reproduction DNAs are recombining. That is the reason there is more chances of variations. So in sexual reproduction, variation is more because of DNA from two parents. Okay. So these variations, I already told you, they help the organisms in their survival and evolution. Next. Now, inherited traits. What are inherited traits? Traits means characteristics. The traits that pass from parents to children are called inherited traits. Example, eye color, hair type, attached or free ear lobes, these are all. How the traits are inherited? The traits are inherited through the genes. Already we discussed at this point. They are inherited through the genes. Okay. So every organism will have two genes for each trait. For example, height. Height is a characteristic trait. So for this height, there are two genes to control that height. There are two genes. Right. So the gene responsible for height from father, he got, okay, the father is tall. Let me explain you. Here, father, mother. So father is having two genes for his height. Both are tall. So every organism, for every characteristic, how many genes will be there? Two genes. These are called as alleles. Mother is having dwarf, short. Mother is short. She is having two genes, both are short. So she is looking short. Father is having both the genes which are tall. Okay. So for this trait, that is the height, there are two genes in father, two genes in mother. So to the child they are passed like this. Okay. From mother, shortness, short gene has come. From father, tall gene has come. The child looks tall. The child looks tall. But he is having two genes in his body. One is tall, one is short. Short is not expressed out, tall is expressed out. So the gene that is expressed out is dominant gene. The gene that is not expressed is that recessive gene. So for every character, every trait, we have two genes, children. For skin color, I may be having dark skin, but my father is having fair skin. My mother is having dark skin. So I got both the fair and dark in me, but only one is expressed out. Okay, only one gene is expressed out. The dark color is expressed out, but still I have the gene which has the fair color, right? So for every character there are two genes. Every trait is controlled by two genes which are called as alleles. Now, how these traits pass, right? We have a confusion. Okay, why I am getting only this dark complexion even though my mother is fair? So why I am short even though my father is tall? Like that we will get some doubts. Why that particular trait is not inherited? So to understand how the traits are inherited from parents to children, there are certain rules. These rules were discovered by a famous scientist called Gregor John Mendel. He did so many experiments and how this inheritance of traits takes place, and he has given the rules by his experiments. So to understand, to study how the patterns of inheritance takes place in organisms, he selected pea plants and he studied them. Why he selected pea plants? Because they have the short lifespan. So he can easily observe so many generations, how the changes, how the characteristics are passed. And not only that, the pea plants, they have so many variations, contrasting characters. Like some pea plants are tall, some are dwarf. Some plants have yellow pods, some have green pods, some have yellow seeds, some have green seeds, like that. Contrasting traits are there in pea plants. So he selected pea plants for his experiment. All pea plants are not alike. There are so many varieties easily available in the gardens. So that is the reason why he selected this pea plants. So Mendel followed three major steps in his experiment. First one is selection of pure breeds. Okay, pure breed means, for example, there is a tall pea plant. So for the tallness, how many genes will be there? I told you two genes, one trait. Both the genes are tall, both are dominant genes. If the plant is having both dominant genes for a trait, that is called as a pure breed. So Mendel selected such pure breed plants to start the experiment, and for the first step, he need pure breeds. Okay, not one with dominant gene, recessive gene. Pure breeds he has taken. Next, now crossing the contrasting traits. Now he crossed. For example, he has taken a pure breed tall plant, pure breed short plant. These are contrasting, opposite. Now he crossbreed. Then he is going to study what are the results. Third one, counting the offspring's traits. Counting how many plants have come tall, how many plants have come short, what is the reason? So in this way, by following these three steps, he conducted experiments on pea plants. Here we can see the picture of Gregor John Mendel. Next we see the Mendel's experiment. There are two main experiments we study here. They are monohybrid cross, dihybrid cross. Monohybrid cross means here the crossing between two plants to study one particular trait, how it is inherited. Okay, what is the characteristic? Height of the plant. Okay, tall and dwarf. He selected one tall pea plant, one short pea plant. Both are pure breeds. I told you pure breed means it contains both the genes of same kind, homozygous. Okay. So in the F1 generation, here one tall, one short he took. Okay. So the reproduction happened. Here tall plants have come. All tall plants. They're looking tall, but inside you see the genes, one tall, one short, one tall, one short. They are not pure breeds, but all plants are tall in the first generation. So he crossed one tall plant, one dwarf plant of pure breeds. He got all tall plants. They are not pure breeds. Okay. So that is generation 1. first generation. Now F2 generation, again he crossbred these two plants, F1 generation plants. In the second generation, you see out of 4, 3 are tall, 1 is short. Okay, so 3:1 ratio, 3 are tall, 1 is short. Among these 3 also you can observe only 1 is pure breed tall, the other 2 are heterozygous, 1 tall, 1 short. But still they are looking tall because tall is a dominant trait, dominant gene is there. So this dominant gene is expressed out, the tallness is expressed out, dwarfness is not dominant characteristic. Okay, which one is the dominant trait that gets expressed out, right children? So 3:1 ratio. So in this experiment we understood that, okay, how the inheritance takes place for one particular trait. Now 2 traits. He crossed plants involving seed color. Now he has taken seed color and seed shape, 2 characteristics you have taken. So now here in that, what kind of results are obtained here? When he did for the dihybrid cross for 2 traits, it is 9:3:3:1. See, the traits are inherited independently. Here we can see that round yellow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are round and yellow. 9 are round and yellow. And 3 are green and round. 3 are green and round. And 3 are wrinkled yellow. Wrinkled yellow. And only 1 is wrinkled green. Okay, wrinkled yellow and wrinkled green. So this is the ratio when he conducted experiment on 2 traits, how the inheritance of 2 traits takes place. So here we can observe that the traits inherit independently. Means the roundness and yellow color are not linked together. It doesn't mean that if the seed is yellow means it should be round, not like that. It can be yellow and wrinkled, it can be yellow and round. It can be green and wrinkled, it can be green and round. So the shape and color are independent. So the traits are independent. They get assorted independently. This is law of independent assortment. Right children? This is how the inheritance of traits takes place and which was observed by Gregor John Mendel. Now how do traits get expressed? Traits, how they are expressed? Okay. So traits is controlled by what? Genes. Traits are controlled by genes, right? So gene is responsible for the expression. For example, there is a boy who is very tall. How he is becoming so tall? It is not because of the food he is eating. Food is not only the factor, but still he looks so tall. He is tall because in his body a hormone is produced called growth hormone. It is produced more, so he is growing. Why the growth hormone is produced more? How it is produced, that hormone? Who makes the hormone to get produced? Our genes. So he has got a gene from his father which is very active and which is more functional, produces more growth hormone. So he has got a gene. That means the tallness of trait is controlled by the gene. The gene is producing a protein, nothing but the growth hormone. So growth hormone is a protein. So the gene is producing the protein is making a change to the body. Right? For example, someone is with a dark skin, melanin is more produced. So he is having a gene which is producing the protein for the production of melanin. So genes produce proteins, these proteins bring changes in our body and the changes are expressed out. Right? So that is the link between the appearance, the features or the characteristics and the genes. Who is there in between? Protein. So our genes, they have the information to make what kind of proteins and not to make what kind of proteins. If that proteins or particular enzymes or hormones are produced in more, they are expressed out. If they are not made properly, they are not expressed. For example, a plant, it needs some hormone to grow tall. If the plant is not having the gene, the tallness gene to produce that hormone, then the plant remains short. Right? Next. How do genes control traits? Okay, the same thing what I have explained here. You can see the picture, DNA strand, and it has got some parts. The part of the DNA is called as gene Every gene is responsible to produce a particular specific protein or some compound. So these proteins, they make changes to our body. These proteins, they make the enzymes and hormones. So our body growth and coordination, everything is controlled by that. These hormones and enzymes, the functionality of the body is controlled by that hormones and enzymes. So in this way, our genes are linked to our characteristics. So next, sex determination. What is sex determination? How is the sex of a newborn baby is decided? In different animals, it is in different ways. Some animals like reptiles, temperature decides whether the newborn baby will be a boy or a girl. Okay. Some animals will have both the sexes, male and female, like some snails. Right. But in humans, what decides? In humans, the sex is determined by the sex chromosomes. We know that we have 46 chromosomes in each cell. That means 23 pairs. Out of these 23 pairs, 22 pairs are autosomes. One pair is sex chromosome. In males, we have XY sex chromosomes. In female, we have XX sex chromosomes. Okay? Right. So when when the gametes are formed, some sperm cells are X chromosome, some sperm cells have Y chromosome. Whereas in females, the egg cell has got all X chromosomes. All egg cells produced in female are X chromosome because their sex chromosomes both are X. Both that X. So when they are divided to form gamete, whatever that egg cell is formed, it is X. But in male, the sex chromosomes are XY. So when gametes are formed, the haploid gametes are formed, some are X, some are Y. For example, if the Y sperm cell fuses with the egg cell, it forms XY, that is male, boy. If X sperm cell fuses with the X egg cell, it is female, girl. So who is deciding the sex of the baby? Not the mother, it is the father. So father produces sperm cells. In the body of father, sperm cells of X and Y are produced. It is a mix of that. Right. So when he deposits the sperms into the female reproductive tract, he is depositing X chromosomed sperms and Y chromosomed sperms all together. So one chromosome will fertilize the egg. If if one sperm cell fertilizes the egg, if that sperm cell is having X chromosome, it is baby, girl baby. If that sperm cell is Y chromosome, it is boy baby, XY. Okay. So father determines the sex of the baby in case of humans. So this is all about the sex determination. So these are the main topics, important topics, and we covered every point of the lesson. And I hope you got the lesson, you understood the lesson. Now you open your textbooks and read it, you will get the clear picture of it. Right children, thanks for watching, and if you like the video, please give it a like and please subscribe to GradeBooster channel, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. We'll meet again with another wonderful video. Till then, take care, bye bye. Thanks for watching. Please like the video. Please share this video with your friends. Please subscribe to GradeBooster channel. Press the bell icon to get all the latest updates. Check the description to find links of other useful videos. Check the end screens for our new videos.